Retired party girls, yeah, we spilling the tea. From Bravo to pop culture, no apology. White refrigerator, buy wig, please. It's all happening. Mid-season receipts left the party at 10, but the vibe's still loud. Front row on the sofa, breaking it down. If it's trending, messy, styling, fast, we rewind the footage and run it back. That's my opinion. Yeah, I said what I said. Conventional energy, drama keeps us fed. Champagne or tea, pull up the truth. In bed by 12, but we still run the world. Welcome inside with the retired party girls.
Hi, after partiers and besties. Thanks for joining us again.
It's Friday. Get your titties out for the weekend.
That's Tessa's favorite thing to say for Fridays. Every time, if you ever look at her little notes on Instagram, that's what it always says.
every Friday. I just want to remind you guys, let them titties sway. It's the weekend. Let's get hype. Yes.
Yes. So we have to start off on a sad note. We're going to bring it back up, right?
Yes.
But we do have to start off on a low note. Trigger warning just in case. Well, it's really devastating. Mary Cosby's son, Robert Jr., has passed away. This happened Monday night. There hasn't been an actual release of what happened, and we're not going to sensationalize it. We just really want to say how heartbroken we are for Mary and everyone who loved him, because that's not the outcome any of us were hoping for, the things that he was struggling with.
Absolutely. My heart absolutely shattered when I saw it. You were the first person I texted. I wanted to cry. Mary was so open in her journey to allow us into her home and share what was going on with her son so that it could help other families who might be going through this. And I am so gutted that the worst case scenario happened to her, and all of our hearts are with her. And I felt like because she shared that story, it did happen to all of us. So, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine her pain, and my heart is with her, and I have not been able to stop thinking about her.
Agreed. Apologies to those on YouTube. My camera is trying to mess with me today. But that being said, yeah, I fully agree. You know, if you've loved someone who struggled with addiction, you know how it's this really sometimes not just painful, but frustrating, because there's a side of you that just wants to be like, okay, then just stop doing it. But that's not how it works. It's an incurable disease. And something she said has stuck with me in so many ways in that scene. And I really hope she knows that. I mean, even just from the standpoint of someone who consumes all of this so much, when she said, I support you, but I will not support this, it was truly how you say, I support you and I love you. I'm not going to support you destroying yourself, and I will help you through that. So she did everything right. She did. And
You did everything right.
you know,
But like you said, it is a disease. And sometimes
it is.
you're able to cure it, and sometimes you lose the fight. And I'm just so devastated.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, our hearts are truly going out to her. I did see TMZ reported that she is still planning to film, because they were supposed to start filming this week, actually today, I think it was. But fortunately, they, you know, were postponing it. And I think I'm assuming before anyone gets judgy about it, Mary most likely said, well, I'm going to need to share this story to help more people. That's my assumption. And, you know, I don't even want to try and think about what I would do. I don't want to think about how I would have to handle it, because grief is the worst feeling in the world, and everyone deals with it differently as well. So, yeah, our hearts are with Mary and her family at this time.
Absolutely.
Okay. So like I said, we had to start on a lower note, but believe me, if there's anyone that can bring this back up to a party, it's us. I I realized after I had paused Besties by Caitlin podcast, I had so many amazing besties just reach out, even as soon as this whole thing started back up with Retired Party Girls, asking after McCoy, how he's doing. And I'm going to share what I can. And Tessa knows the reasons why. It's not because I'm trying to keep, privacy after I shared so much with you guys. You can probably do your own conclusions if you think about it, about why. So McCoy, after the initial injury, he had the first emergency surgery that ended up being at 1 a.m. And that was probably the worst night of Jay and I's lives. I'm not even going to mince those words. And then he ended up requiring a second surgery. The first surgery was the 6th of September. He required a second one on September 11th. And he then also had to have a third procedure the week after I got back from BravoCon, actually. So it was pretty heavy on me while I was there. I was doing my best. It's hard when it's your child on your mind, of course. And so he's doing so much better, but he was left with permanent damage to his eye. He has something called now mydriasis. I may be pronouncing it slightly incorrectly, but essentially his pupil appears blown out, and we've had it explained that it was due to the initial injury. And it was his iris was what they claimed was stunned. And so the pupil, the black part of his eye, is really blown out now. He's, again, doing much better. He is very lucky to still have his eye. He was at high risk for glaucoma because that's something that can happen, especially with prolonged elevated interocular pressure. And that ended up happening with him as well. But that is the worst physical aspect at this time as to what is going on with him. He has more coming up where more appointments that they're going to have to double check that he did not develop cataracts in that eye. So yeah, it's bittersweet. What I will say is do not have any stretch toy around your child, even if they're like 12 years old, because I would never in a million years have thought that what he was playing with, even if he were sitting in my lap, was something that this could happen with. And, it was very much marketed as safe. So you just have to, unfortunately, with some things, consider every worst case scenario. But he came out of what happened the best he could. And that's the very good news. And he is back to being his ornery, wild little self, even writing in my Valentine's Day card that I'm going to go to jail sometime, which, McCoy, we got to talk about that. But anywho, that's the update. And I just want to say thank you for all of the prayers, all of the thoughts, all of the check-ins. And I did not mean to be flippant about it by not talking about it. I just want this to be fun. And so we are about 10 minutes in, and we are going to have fun now. What do you say, Tessa?
Hell yes. But I just want to say, Caitlin, you literally went through like the second worst thing that you could go through as a mother. And you are such a bad, like this girl is a freaking superwoman. She does it all.
Don't make me cry.
And then she still hosts a podcast. Okay, we're going to be fun. I just want to say I am in constant awe of you. You did that shit. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. And
I love you so much.
Glad. I love you. And I'm
and
just
you
so
and
glad
Paris
that
have
McCoy
been
is back to
amazing.
being happy. We got you forever, forever. Anything you need.
Know.
Your family is my family, girl. All right, let's fun it up. It's
and
Friday.
Yours, mine. Yes, bitch. Can we please? Love is blind.
Oh,
love
my
is
gosh.
not blind, but blind.
Oh,
y'all.
My gosh.
Okay, before we get into the most recent episodes, there are just a few points that we tried to hit in our many attempts at recording our first episode that just we couldn't get to when we finally made it work. Tessa, tell me something. What would you do? And okay, I know how much worse it would be if a man said this. So we'll say if someone that you're supposed to be marrying found it disrespectful for you to move their water bottles in the fridge and didn't like the way the towels were folded, I'm just curious, what would you do?
Ooh, I'd be like, how much do I have to pay to get out of this contract? Because I'm not spending another minute with this man. He's a psycho. He's a psycho. Okay. And that was the first red flag. And then we saw a second one and a third one. And then all of a sudden we're at the bar and we're finding out via the help of Ashley's friend that Alex is.
Oh no, that was his friend.
That
But
was
now
his
Ashley.
friend? Oh my God.
Oh, Tessa. Oh, yes,
That's
babes.
even worse. That's even worse. Because she got
I've
to.
got the notes on it.
And she didn't want to. She didn't even want to get him like that. But she was like, wait, but didn't you say? But weren't you just? But didn't she? And don't you? Oh, the lies they caught this man in.
Don't you worry. We are going to be getting to the whole bar scene because y'all know how I take super detailed notes. I did not go that insane, but I had to piece together some of the Alex stuff because for someone who is as meticulous as to want to track their fiance's cycles, not because they're, she's asking or for getting pregnant or just simply trying not to get pregnant or her, saying, yeah, I need help with this, but because he doesn't trust her to do something she's been doing for like 18 years. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were as meticulous as him if you got notes on that. So I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah.
And tell me why during this episode I forgot that Christine and Vic were a part of the cast at all. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Until they
were.
I saw this thread that Katie Maloney posted, and I wanted to read it, okay?
Please.
And I want to see if you agree with it. She posted this in the Love is Blind threads and said, I don't know if I can do another season if this is the model they're sticking with. It seems like the producers like the circus more than the premise of their own show. I can watch Love Island for that mess. And then she followed up saying, the whole Vic and Christine has no drama, so that's why they haven't been featured much thing. I'm sorry, but I want more of people navigating a healthy relationship, important conversations, and questions. Do you agree with her?
Yes, and I also think we do need a little bit of mess because that's what this show has become. But Vic and Christine, they were making me tear up. They were so sweet. We have to have those couples still.
Okay.
But
see, okay, I'm sorry. I disagree. I disagree
I
fully, and I'm sorry. I love Katie Maloney, but I have not disagreed with her this hard since she gave Schwartz a marriage ultimatum. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the entire brand of Love is Blind is the mess. That's what it is to me. And yes, I know it's supposed to be a dating show where they're finding love, and we're finding out, is love blind? But we know the answer now. It's not. And ever since season 1, where we saw Cameron and Lauren find each other, I've given up hope that we're ever going to find another couple like that again. So now I am tuning in solely for the mess, solely because this has become the show that men are nightmares. Watch the circus, right? Like that's what this show is. And so when I see these lovey-dovey moments, I'm confused at this point. I'm like, what? Are we promoting love now?
I hear what you're saying. I do. I think we need to have at least one solid couple in there. But then, yes, the rest we do need the mess. That's really because where do we get characters like freaking the Lucky Charms mascot, Chris? That bar scene. You guys, the way this man was looking up at Brie saying, I would like take you to like the Four Seasons. For some people, that's like luxurious because he's so hammered. And when he stuck baby, I was like, I have goosebumps. I'm so disgusted. Oh my God.
I was grossed out, but not surprised. What I was surprised by was that Brie didn't shut it down. She didn't shut it down, and I get her. You can hear me?
No. I know. We're so used to tech issues. I meant that she didn't shut it down faster or sooner is what I was saying. Yeah, sorry.
No. She didn't. I feel like she didn't shut it down at all. He's like, hey, so how's it going with Connor? He's submissive. I could be like that. And she's like, well, we're in a relationship. Girl, if that's your man, say that's your man. Don't let some other dude that's supposed to be his friend come over here and tell you that your man is submissive. Stand up.
Well, and then did you notice? So one of his things he said was one of his biggest issues with her when they were in the pods is that she's friends with a lot of dudes, but like a lot of loser dudes. You're talking about her friends. And then when he says, and then I looked up your Instagram and I was like, huh. She was like a mile from me. We would have been fuck buddies. I was like,
not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. And the whole time I have to look down at my screen at him, mind you.
We sure do.
The audacity of this little, and I'm just wondering this entire time, what woman has allowed him to believe that he is the type of man who can be spewing these ridiculous judgments? It was just one after the other after the other. I said, oh my goodness, production, somebody come stop this man.
No, they were like, we love it because it is the level of delusion that is beyond enjoyable. Because the Freudian slip on his end that came out of nowhere when Priyanka eventually interrupts them. Oh, apparently I'm like some sort of Andrew Tate. I'm like that Andrew Tate guy. And that's when I think Brie, like this was right after Brie had shut him down. First of all, no one called him that, at least that we saw. Something could have been edited out. Mm-hmm. But you said this. I don't want to take away from, I want to let you say, I keep forgetting what hasn't actually made it onto the actual podcast. When I had brought up to you how he has that obsession with someone being submissive and dominant, and what you said his issue was.
I did mention Andrew Tate, right? I said,
yes.
Okay, and he's trying to bring it up like, oh, like this Andrew Tate guy, like, I don't know who he is. Bro, you're subscribed to his YouTube, his podcast, his Instagram, his TikTok, probably his OnlyFans, okay? You know exactly who he is, you know what he believes in, and you agree with it. And you've probably heard from another woman that same exact comment, and that's why you just immediately assume that these women were going to think it. It was such a tell. It was such a tell. If you let these men talk long enough, they tell on themselves.
Exactly.
And then he has the audacity to pull Jessica to the side. Oh, no. And she let him. Oh, my goodness.
Because I think she didn't know the things he was saying about her. I think that's why. True, like behind her back. She only knows what he said to her. And did you notice because he keeps playing this, I know you hate me, trying to get someone to tell, like one of the women, he did it to Amber, he did it to the 3 girls who lost all those brain cells standing there talking to him. He then does it to Jessica, basically as a ploy to try and get them to say, I don't hate you. I don't think you're a bad guy.
He's always fishing for something. Tell me you like me. Tell me I'm worthy. Tell me I'm tall. It's not going to happen.
No. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Because he then says, then he tries to get her to feel sorry for him, where he's like, I know you hate me. Actually, I have a lot of people in my life who hate me. It was like, okay. I'm sure you do.
Another tell. Thank you for warning us. Like, where was this personality in the pods? It's crazy how they can just put on a mask and become whoever they think the woman wants them to be. And then as soon as that mask slips, they're like, hey, this is who I really am.
It's that Joker smile.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about this conversation because I think maybe you must have missed this one part because I mean when we're getting these hour and a half long episodes that many at a time, and we had you and I were talking about how technically all of the shows we watched, if we included even the ones that we're not even going to be able to cover today, it was at least 9 episodes of TV we were having to watch just this week in as much detail as we could. So Alex had mentioned when he saw Priyanka's gorgeous self walk in that he knew her back in Chicago because they ran in the same friend group.
Okay.
And
I remember this, but I'm the what I picked up from it is like maybe they were like mutuals on social media, and he
I don't
wanted
believe
to
that.
hit that, but he just wasn't close enough in the circle to hit that. That's
so
what I
that
picked
makes
up.
sense. I picked up on that one, she's just his type because remember, he doesn't like blondes and light features. And she is gorgeous. Like to me, she could be on
Stunning.
a scripted TV show. She's so beautiful.
For sure. Yes.
And the way he said, explained on producer cam, essentially, the reason why he didn't tell anyone or bring up to anyone that he knew her was he didn't want to ruin her experience. So then as he, I keep trying to say Alexa, anyway, as he, Ashley, and Priyanka are sitting there talking, and Priyanka calls him out that she also saw him in Austin.
Oof.
So she saw him in Chicago and in Austin, okay? So he says he was looking for a place in Austin and was going back and forth. And this is, you can see Ashley's gears turning, right? Hearing that Alex was going to actually move to Austin for his ex. And Priyanka says she thought the nurse ex wasn't there. And that's what Ashley thought. But no, he was staying with her and with the ex. And the way he kept saying she was on assignment. Oh, she was, but they're in Austin. And so the way Priyanka, did you notice this? The way Priyanka said to him, I didn't know you were staying in the same home with her. She didn't look happy about that. Something happened. That is my belief 100%. Because did you know it's just that no female is getting like that over a friend she's only had maybe for like a week and a half, that she doesn't have anything invested except, okay, I've met this guy a couple of times.
Okay. This is making a lot more sense. His ex and the homegirl are okay. She knows the tea.
Or Priyanka. No, I think Priyanka and Alex had something going on.
No.
Yes.
Oh, hold on.
Because then did you notice that Alex says, why would it matter? This was before, and he goes, before I met he points at Priyanka and then stops himself and says, before I met you, pointing to Ashley.
Oh my gosh. Caitlin, let me tell you why right now I feel like Maura Higgins. The fact that I didn't even pick that up. I'm like, wow, yeah, she must be friends with the ex. Whoa. And I'm like, yeah, it looks like he wants to bang her. I wonder why they haven't gone there. Whoa. Totally missed that girl. Nothing gets by you. You are the FBI.
Lots of
and
things
you better
do that.
watch out.
Oh, honey, everyone should. Because I noticed, like, why would she be so hung up on the fact, one, that he told her he was living in, Priyanka, as in she and her, told her he was living there. And why would she say, but I didn't know you were staying with the girlfriend, or excuse me, the ex-girlfriend in the same house? And then why would she be so upset seemingly about it? Because why would she be upset for Ashley about that? Aside from being like, no, you're a liar. He did her dirty in some way. And that's the point here, is the way this man put it, that he said the ex was on assignment, which anyone would think that meant for a travel nurse, they were not in their home base home. Okay. But he was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, she was there on assignment. So his word salad justifications are actually so dangerous, y'all. Because then when he goes on to say, being like, well, Can you remember where you were on a Tuesday 3 years ago? That's the type of thing these type of men do. Ladies, gentlemen, if you date men, this is what they do, those type of men. And then when he started losing, when Priyanka's like, oh, really? Because he said this information, these answers to your questions, Ashley, about whether I lived in Cleveland for 1.5 years, which he says, yeah, realistically, what the fuck does that even mean? He uses confusing language on purpose. Okay, he does at this point.
He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And during that moment where they caught him at the bar, he is like, well, I mean, do you want me to retell it? And what he means is, do you want me to figure out the best lie to get out of this again?
Yeah.
And then he immediately deflects. Okay, so you're teaming up on me 2 against 1. Why are you here? Oh. And
Priyanka said absolutely not. And I would be mad if any man spoke to me that way, but there was something else in there. That my theory, we'll call it a theory. Now that my theory's coming together, do you hear how like certain things she said and the way she said
Everything. I'm like the woman in that meme with all the math numbers. I'm like, oh, I'm putting it together.
Yes, so that's theory number 1.
100% makes sense. Yes.
The second theory is that it was a friend that he did that to that is not being mentioned. That he fucked over her friend who did, like, maybe literally went and hooked up with this friend, acted like they were going to get together when he was staying with his ex-girlfriend in the same house. So it's one of those two.
That's the one that I thought it was more like. But yeah, no, I definitely think something happened. The way he was like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to ruin her experience. Because I'm like, if there was somebody in there that I kind of already knew what they look like, I would have cheated. And I would have been like, you're cute. Let's do this, you know? Wait, is that fucked up? Would you have cheated?
No.
If you knew somebody hot was in the pods and you're not supposed to know what they look like, would you have matched with them?
Or if I knew they were a terrible person, would I have made sure I stayed away? Yes, remember when this happened with that girl, was it Lydia that year? And she ended up with, what's his name, that they're divorced now? Not Marvin? It was something like that, right? And her ex was in the pod. Yeah, I know. It was like something. Yeah. It was not like, there's something, yeah.
Yes, her ex was in there. Yes, I remember.
And she ruined it for this one girl that they were hitting it off. And the girl shouldn't have, I can't remember her name. This is what's sad. We've had too many seasons now. And the girl left when it was stupid. Like she should have but Lydia wouldn't shut up about it because she just is a talker. Anyway, we're not about that. Okay. And I just want to wrap the Alex part up with how he hasn't had a home base for 4 years. We call that homeless.
Homeless. He's a hobosexual. Truly, he lives out of a suitcase and sometimes at his mom's house, who he just had on his podcast. And I was like, yeah.
He has a podcast?
He has a podcast. And he had his mom on there, who I thought was a paid actor on the show. But no, apparently.
A lot of people did.
Yes. But you listen to their podcast and that's his mama. That's his mama.
So is he trying to use Love is Blind to boost his podcast?
Oh, 100%.
To have the trust in Dubai and a safe house in New Zealand. What is a safe house? I'm scared now.
The sole reason that he came on Love is Blind is so that he could get cast on The Perfect Match.
Yeah.
On Netflix. That is why. He wants to be on that show. Every season there's clout chasers. And you know who else I think is a clout chaser? Mike, the one with Emma.
You do?
Yes, I think that he is also on here so that he can be on Perfect Match. Mark my words, those two will be on the next season of Perfect Match. And they did not come on the show for a wife. I don't believe it.
Do you know what? I think that they're both going... I think... See, if anything, at the beginning, I thought it was going to be Emma saying no. I think that if they both say yes, by the time we get to the reunion, they're going to be separated. Now, also, I want to be clear about something. I may be friends with Madison Maidenberg, but she does not, I'm not asking her for any tea, because especially if it's someone who's like my actual friend, I'm not going to do that. So if I say I'm actually friends with someone, just know I'm not going to use them for giving all the goods. I know, I'm sorry, I'm boring, but
Boo,
I will
good
say,
friend.
I know it's, but I will say, like, I genuinely believe that Mike's thing with the kids and the way he's going after trying to get Emma to have them, convince her, it's like a used car salesman. If she doesn't want kids, she doesn't want kids. And I hate how it's always women that we're looked at. If we're the ones saying we don't want kids, we don't ever want to have kids, well, aren't you sure you're going to regret it someday? Don't you have something maternal in you? If she does, I would rather hear someone say, I don't want to have kids and choose not to, than someone who says, I don't want to have kids and get convinced to do it and then regret it. Don't bring a human in this world like that.
And it's such a serious topic, and in such a short time frame, they want her to decide this. Like, they have a month from meeting in the pods to walking down the aisle, and he's like, hey, in this month, I need you to know, are you going to be a mamacita or not?
Mamacita.
And that is his number one deal breaker, and that is just so wild to me. And I thought he personally maybe had some issues going on where I was like, are you just looking for a baby factory? But then we meet his parents, and it's very clear, like, they want
Italian
him to start on yeah, exactly. They are they're very Italian. They want their grandbabies. Like, this is a family mission. So I was so shocked when Emma said yes.
I was too.
It up like she was going to say no, and it looked like even her family was shocked. They were like, "Oh, what?
Oh, okay.
Girl, we told you not to do it. What are you doing?" Oh my gosh! So then they leave us on the cliffhanger. Is Mike going?
We still have some more. We have some more. Don't forget the switch up from Brittany. I'm so sorry. I know I can't, because these episodes, there were some really juicy moments that I can't let go of compared to some of our other stuff. The switch up from Brittany, because I have some alleged tea that I read somewhere. So whenever she found out Devontae has money, did you notice that? Did you notice that switch up?
I was like, dang, she's really into him. Like, he must have a really beautiful soul, because even though he doesn't want to touch her, he never tells her she's beautiful, doesn't validate her in any type of way. She's still like, it's okay. I'm here for you.
She heard, sometimes I make 40 grand a month, and she said, it's okay, babe. You don't have to tell me I'm pretty even on our wedding day. You're paying the bills though, right? My credit card bill's kind of high.
That blew me. She said, "Oh, 40,000 a month." You know what? I think we will go through, because she's at the dress shop crying with her mom. I already got my dress. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? This isn't real. But the 40,000 a month, that makes it real for her. And you know what? Sometimes a girl doesn't need to be told she's beautiful as much as she needs $40,000 a month.
We don't make the rules. We don't make the rules. Well, okay, let's take a quick break before we get into Bree and Connor.
Oh, yes.
So Bree had a lot of audacity, though, whenever she was trying to break up with Connor over the things he wears. Tell me, did you have one of? Did you have one of those sleeveless cape blazers back in 2016? Because I thought I was hot shit in that.
I did. I experimented with my fashion. I was never good at it, but you know, that switch up was crazy. I don't know what. I wish I understood where it came from. I feel like there is a scene between them. No,
Chris.
Bree. No, Bree.
I know. It came from Chris. She repeated basically her own version of everything he said.
Oh my gosh, no. Caitlin, you are so on the ball, and you're making me feel like Maura right now, because I'm just like, where is this coming from, girl? Where? I never thought that little gremlin got in her mind and actually convinced her to give up one of the most loving couple relationships on the show. I was like, how did this happen? He loved you. And she was just saying, you love me. You really love me. But also,
that's all she could say back to him. That was the only compliment she could give him. She used the words, I'm used to a guy out alpha-ing me, telling him he looked like, because of his car and his home, he looked lazy. He's not taking pride in anything. She's used to big energy, and she meant big dick energy. She was describing all the ways he is submissive. And then to call this sweet man, I don't know if he's a liability. She was the pick me softball girl. That's what she was.
I had a hard time watching that, a very hard time watching that, because I felt for Connor. I think he's been such a gentleman and a sweetheart, and I truly do think he loves her for her. So I was like, damn, what the hell? But also on her side, sprinkle. You know what I mean? Like I see so many videos where it's like, girl, if you're like outperforming your man, out like spending your man, earning your man, whatever it is, like, why do you need your man? Like, I get that. I hear that rhetoric. It's very like the girl version of Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
But like, there's a reason for it. But also, you need a man that's going to love you for you. I don't know if that's something she's ever had, but she had it. And she was like, yeah, I'd actually care if you made more. And that really
And I'd actually care if you were an asshole.
Yes. That really sucked to see, because nice guys do finish last. And I don't want that for them.
Yeah. Well, Chris has finished very last at the very least. I am ready to see Alex finish last.
I don't know, though. Did Chris finish last if he got in Bree's head and convinced her to end her engagement?
Well, he looks like a clown to everyone. So I think that suffices for me. For sure. Bree did that to her own damn self.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. And her red flag was their conversation at the bar. I should have known.
100%. 100%. Do you want to talk?
I really thought they were going to make it. Yes. Oh my God.
Let's talk
Traitors.
Traitors.
Because in this situation, the horrible guy he did finish first. And you know, Rob's not that bad of a guy. He's cute. I get it, but
he reminds me of my elementary school and junior high crush, because I went to it was a private school. I'm not going to say this guy's name because I don't want to embarrass him. And I can see why they both do the same type of things, like the prolonged eye contact that make you think, you know, it really makes you think you're special. And to be honest, it's kind of hypocritical and sad that we are only rooting for the traitors if there's a housewife in there.
I mean, that's not, I would have rooted for him. I would have rooted for him if the Faithfuls had been more smart. If he had some obstacles that he had to jump through to earn his win, but he didn't. Not at all. Everyone was just blinded by his gorgeous looks and his snake charming charm.
I know. And God bless, you know, it was Johnny and Tara that figured it out, but they didn't pull through with their Harriet the Spy work until it was too damn late.
Too little, too late. You shouldn't have came at Natalie at the round table. Should have had her back. Too little, too late. Oh gosh. When Maura flipped up that sign and it said Johnny the first time, I said, "Oh, girl, you're tripping." But when it came up again and it said Tara,
you knew.
I can't imagine.
I knew. I knew because the problem is, whether they want to claim that they were just friends, which, sorry, America, Robert has a girlfriend now. Oh my gosh, I forgot to spill a little alleged tea about Devontae. Oh my God.
What? Oh my gosh, no. Hold on. Back up.
Backtrack
What's
for a second.
Devontae?
Oh my God. Allegedly. Now, I saw it on Reddit, so, you know. Because remember, they have like actual fans come watch the taping. You know what I'm saying? So allegedly, Devontae is now engaged to someone else and she is pregnant.
Oh. What? I mean, he does make $40,000 a month.
Sometimes it's 10.
Okay, but once he put it out there, his DMs,
It was done.
this probably happened last night. Okay, this probably happened last night because the way that if I found out that's how much he was making, I would have been like, you know what? It's okay that you look like Shrek's cousin, and you don't tell me I'm pretty. It's fine.
Let me be real. He said it changes month to month. He knew. I'm sorry. Now we're going back to Love Is Blind. This is the last thing. Now that I'm saying this, you know what I realized? Because I have worked those very much like commission heavy jobs, and he was giving her the spectrum of the most he's ever made, and 10,000 being the spectrum of, so this is what I can still make on a decent month. Is what he was giving. Because if it's commission only, baby, that is the hardest to make that money. I have been in all those commission situations, and oh my God. So if you're not getting a base salary on like base then commission, which he probably is with software sales. Anyway, sorry. I forgot to spill that tea.
Wow.
The alleged
once
tea.
again, shocking, but not.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yes, Rob has a girlfriend, but
that is shocking because he could just be Playboy of the century right now, but he's a lover boy. He's a lover boy, and I love that. I do. I mean, look, in my opinion, when it comes to the way Candace and Rinna, they know how to work a reunion, okay? That's aside from the fact that they were traitors, that's part of why they were sitting right up close and ready to go. And the thing that I wish Candace had brought up was that what proved her point that Rob was only in this for himself and to try and hold his feet to this is that he then turned on Eric. And instead of letting him get away with, well, I promised Maura, that bothered me on Rob's. I keep calling him Robert because I'm still slightly mad at him. You did say that last time that whenever you're mad at a guy, you love to call them by their birth certificate name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The government name comes out. I'm not furious with him. You know, if it weren't for Maura, I think being so nice about it, I think all of us would be a lot more mad. Don't you?
Honestly, and
of course, I'm annoyed at Maura.
I am annoyed at Maura, but I wanted to see Rinna and Candace come in there and really hold Rob's feet to the flames, but he kind of justified every single thing they threw at him. He had really good points. I know. Candace was like, it was all about self-preservation. So I was after you then. He was like, but you didn't self-preservate.
No, she did that to herself.
Yeah. He had good points. He was like, they were on to Rinna. If I didn't say Rinna, I was going to make myself look like I was down with the traitor. Another great point. And even with the Eric thing, okay? Maura, the game ends with 2. The game ends with 2. He was not going to backstab Maura any more than he already had by lying to her all season.
True. That's a good point.
That he had to, if he would have ended that game and it would have thrown green, he would have kept his promise to Eric, but Maura would have been like, okay, now I'm writing your name down, and the whole thing could have been ruined. So I think he did what he had to do every step of the way, and I can't fault the guy for it, even though I want to.
I know. So, you know what? You're convincing me. You're right. Michael Rappaport. I thought I couldn't dislike him more.
He's a mess.
What he is not a real housewife. And have you noticed that he gets the most combative with the black women, by the way?
That was very odd.
He did it with Kenya on Watch What Happens Live. Remember that all those years ago?
Yes. Yes, and he always comes. I think I took it as he's such a big Housewives fan that he actually wants to be one. But you're
He
right;
does.
it does happen towards Black women more often than not. And
But he's married to a Black woman, I think. I think he's married to a Black woman.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that he is. And
that's why he thinks he's invited to the cookout then.
Exactly. Let me double check.
Really
yes, he is married
Tiffany.
to a Black woman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he thinks he's gotten in.
That's it. That's what it is. That'll do it.
I'll throw that in there.
Okay. Well, that's good context to know.
Yeah. I don't know. The reunion, it was fun, but not a lot came out of it aside from Colton being a victim.
Rinna being like hostage. That was an interesting choice of words. Rinna, really? I mean, yes, Colton's crazy. We know that. We all knew this. But that's what you're coming with?
I agree. I agree. Do you want to take a... I agree. Yeah, same. But I think Andy was just enjoying himself. Do you want to take a quick break before we jump into Beverly Hills and Southern Charm?
Absolutely.
Okay. Quick break and we'll BRB.
See you soon. Okay, so let's get back with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This season started off a little slow for me, but we're having more fun now. I'm really enjoying this Hamptons trip. I thought it was so funny how it started off with Kyle telling Rachel, "Do you like my little Zara outfit?" And she's like, "Yeah, Zara's cute. Look at my vintage Dior, by the way." And then here comes Dorit strolling in literally 2 seconds later with the new Hermes Kelly purse, $28,000. Okay,
girl, that's why your credit card's getting declined.
Seriously, I was like, oh, that's the okay. So here's my thing. Kyle's concerned about Dorit's spending, and should she be? Like, do you think Kyle is projecting because maybe she's worried that she's about to lose her man's money, and that's why she's buying outfits at Zara?
So here's the thing. I think, number one, I think Kyle has always had the side of her that she doesn't have to spend the max amount you can spend on every item that you own. I do think that there is that aspect to Kyle, but I agree with some. Now I'm saying some because our girl Bose, I love her, but she tends to be a little too on Dorit's team, even when Dorit's not doing the right thing or saying the right thing. But Kyle saying all of this gives PK more fuel to say, well, no, it wasn't me spending the money. It was her. That's why we're having to, our house was going to be foreclosed on and things like that. And, at the same time, and Kyle knows what she's doing because she's driving Story, right? But I don't think it's totally her business at the same time. I understand being concerned for your friend. If you are, then talk to your friend. But if your friend's making those choices, you can't. This money, if you're, and you guys aren't on the best terms right now. So
I agree. I agree with that. It's not her business. And I was like, should she be bringing this up? And then they did that flashback clip to when Kyle had stopped drinking and was working out a lot. And Dorit was like, do you think you're just trying to get your power back? You want some sense of control? And you could tell that bothered Kyle. She felt like, I'm going through something right now, and you, as my friend, are asking if I'm being weird because I'm trying to be fit right now. Like, what are you trying to imply? So I feel like this is Kyle's get back moment, and she's trying to do the same thing to Dorit. Now, what I don't understand is why she would tell Bose, of all people, who is absolutely the closest with Dorit, because soon as she did this, first of all, during that FaceTime conversation, I was happy. I said, you know what?
Same.
Kyle and Bose, they got off on the wrong foot last season. They're finally going to give it a shot. Maybe we'll get a real friendship. But then Kyle's like, oh, Dorit's being weird. And I said, girl, pivot the conversation, okay? Because have we not learned anything from Bose? She's going to take it right back to Dorit.
And that does, you know what? as you're saying all this, it's interesting that we're feeling like, okay, they finally are having a real friendship. It seems like, and listen, some great friendships can be built off of something like this, but Kyle's definition of building friendship is maybe talking shit about her other friends.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at it because that would work for me. That would work for me. But you can't talk shit about that person's friend, okay? There's got to be some boundaries, girl.
Yeah.
So Kyle knew what she was doing. She's an OG. She was trying to narrate a storyline around Dorit being erratic, probably in favor of PK. I'm sorry, Kyle. I don't like that. That's not girl behavior. But also, the producers, they did Dorit wrong when they showed her card getting declined. Okay, because to put that back to back with Kyle's concerns, should we be concerned, or is that a total normal thing to happen when you are shopping out of town?
You know what? Okay, let me say this part. When I worked at Saint Laurent, YSL, and this was in LA, this type of thing would happen all the time, and it would be embarrassing for the person who'd been shopping. Without fail, we knew if someone handed us a Bank of America card, the bank would say declined every time, and the person could have thousands upon thousands of dollars in their account, and it would decline it every time. That is something that happens. I will say, if every card, I don't know, you can flip each side, because it's like, okay, if every card's declining, then is it that all of them need to be alerted for travel? I mean, I don't know. I don't have money like that if they're like, oh, babe, you spent $4,000, because also if you have money like that, it shouldn't have triggered anything. That was just $4,000. And it tells me that she doesn't check her balance daily, like the rest of us who are stressed out about the monies. Because I'm checking the balance before I swipe. Sorry.
Especially if I'm spending that much. But I mean, that was just a casual shopping day for her, I guess. I'm just like, girl, do you have a job? I mean, other than the show, I'm just saying I would be concerned. I am concerned for her, but according to her bank account, maybe she don't need to be concerned. I don't know what her business is.
Do you know what I think it is? I think she got that advance for the book and does not know how to hang on to money.
Yes.
At all.
Yes. That is it. She got her own big girl money all by herself, and she's enjoying it, and she's patting herself on the back, which I understand. I did myself too.
Do it.
And that is why I don't have any money today. Okay.
Well, but you held on to enough, because the way your stuff worked, you got advances and things like that. You held on to it enough because you remembered you had to pay rent the next month, like the rest of us do. Your mortgage, whatever you get. Because if you're like me, which until I can get my own finances back in order, I will have to continue on this way. I only get paid once a month, and that is so hard. But even if you're getting paid bi-weekly, like the majority of people, okay, well, 1,000 of this check has to go into the savings account for rent next month. Like, that's the way you do it. And I don't think she's doing that. I think she's just like, oh, this is free money.
Yep. That's it. And I'm worried for my girl. I'm worried for her because I just feel like next season we are going to see a decline in the fits. The fashion is going to take a hit, and it's going to go from Gucci
Zara.
to Coochie. Zara.
That I buy. I know people are like, ain't in fast fashion. Well, I cannot afford sustainable. Makes this sustainable more goddamn affordable and more fashionable, and I fucking will buy it, all right? If it's cute. But Zara is the number one place to go for what is on trend and an okay quality. Okay. I'm sorry.
I'll be real. I don't like Zara. Okay.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe it's because I have gay styles. I don't know. I just go in there and I'm like, this is what adults wear. And I just feel like I am 23.
They have a teen section.
They do?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like everything there is just so sophisticated. And I'm like, I'm not a Zara girl. Like maybe I'm more of a Fashion Nova girl. I don't know. More of a
no,
Shein
I don't
girl?
think. Oh my God, no. We're not speaking
that
that into
Shein?
existence.
Oh,
Let
I'm
me
sorry, is that
take you
cheap?
to a Zara.
Oh my God.
Shein. Oh my God. That's like
cheap?
as I'm bitching about the sustainable, that is where they do the slave labor shit. Yes.
Oh,
You haven't seen
no.
those conspiracies? No, don't feel
No.
bad if you didn't know. You didn't know.
Oh my gosh. Hold
Listen,
on.
I have been
I was
tempted.
going to get my outfit from the Oscars from like Fashion Nova. Where should I get it from? I don't know where to shop, Caitlin. I don't know how to do these things.
I might have something you could borrow.
Okay.
And if not, we're going to find you something. Okay, we're going to find you something. You know what? I get in when I come in on Friday. I get in at like 1:00, so we can go straight somewhere. I'm trying to think of, is Melrose still a thing?
There's nowhere to shop anymore. Santee Alley, Melrose, Beverly Center, Burbank Town Center. There's nowhere to shop anymore. Me and Paris, every time we go out, we're like, let's go get a last minute new outfit. No, you can't do it.
Forget
you
it.
have
Same.
to order 2 weeks ahead online. That is the only way to get new clothes.
I actually have some sites for you.
Oh.
I do. Okay.
Please
and
give.
they're not as expensive as say Revolve, but they have some cute stuff. So one is ASOS, ASOS. They're British. They shouldn't take too long to get to you. ASOS, they have a wide range of prices. I have done Vici collection so many times, and that's VICI collection. They're actually in Orange County. So, and you'll see Tamra and all of them have worn so many Vici collection things. Now let me think. There's one I'm forgetting. I know there is. Shopo. It's a little bit pricier than, I don't know, I'd say it's probably about the same. Shopo, I've gotten some really cute things there. And in fact, I have a dress that I think may be perfect for you.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Send it. I need help. You guys, I'm so bad at fashion. I need a stylist so bad. And the more that I watch reality TV, the more I realize like I can't put together fits. I'm watching the Traitors. And I'm like, I can't do what Maura's doing. She's doing her own glam.
Because she's not. No, she's not.
They're doing their own glam.
Oh, I don't believe that.
I don't think so. They had to do their own glam on the Traitors. Yes. She's an artist. Okay, she's doing.
Well,
the wigs,
that explains why you could see the. That's why you could see the bump at the back of her wig. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, who did that to her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got to braid it in a crown around your head. Anyway, yeah. So those are some good sites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, Revolve does have a good section that is under $100 for like gowns, cocktail dresses, things like that. You haven't shopped Revolve?
I've never even heard of it.
Pretty much everything I wore at BravoCon, and anytime I have something going on, like where the dress for the TikTok awards, everything was Revolve. Revolve, except for one outfit. One of my favorite outfits I've ever bought, that also Candace happened to be wearing the same one in a different color at the drag show. We were wearing the same outfit in different colors. Is Manière de Voir. Oh, I was like, but yeah, it's Manière de Voir, and it's not cheap. I got mine actually during a Labor Day sale last year, but they have, and it's kind of a wide range, I shouldn't say it that way. It's a lot of basics, kind of, but cool sets. You have to just check in. They don't really have like dresses that are that interesting or anything, but that set, it was that baby blue corset-y one with the baby blue cargo pants, and it had the little things that came off the side of my shoulders. And oh my gosh, that was like my favorite outfit. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, yes. Yes,
yeah.
Girl. Okay, I have never heard of Revolve, but I'm going to this site now because, like I told you, your styles be styling, and you just gave me the cheat code. I don't know clothes at all. I'm like, I literally will get clothes from Target, girl. Like you.
Same. My daily.
Well, not
right
Target,
now. I'm wearing
Target, but you know.
I know. I was gonna say I'm wearing a Target T-shirt and Abercrombie jeans. I'm always in Old Navy. I know we're supposed to boycott Target. The only thing I buy from Target is like t-shirts because I like the colors they have. But yeah, no, that's my daily. Revolve, I'm going to forewarn you. They will have a range from, I'm going to say like $60 to $80 dresses, then all the way up to $8,000 dresses. So be prepared. Don't be like, Caitlin, are you out of your mind? Just put the filters on, because sometimes you'll be looking and you're like, oh, that's pretty. I wonder if it's, oh, that's $2,000. No wonder I like it. FYI.
Yep. Thank you. I will. Be
and they have a great return policy.
Oh, wonderful. I'll be putting it on the 60 to 80 option for sure.
Yeah.
Love a good bargain.
Same.
So thank you for that.
Are you kidding me? I'm just showing all of my sheets here, and I'm not even putting in links for affiliate stuff. Rakuten, baby, I use that for everything. And I will use get that cash back. I have like $150 cash back coming from buying just Christmas presents. Even if it's 2%, babe, I will use that and then use the card that I get 2% cash back on.
Yes, give us all your tips. No gatekeeping here. I love that.
Always am in for a sale, baby. Always. But actually, I do think I have a dress for you. I'm going to, when we go on our next break, I'll send it. I'll show you.
Anyway, pictures guys. Of this, but sorry.
We just started kikiing over.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I forgot we were recording a podcast.
So anyways, back to Beverly Hills. I did want to talk really quick about Sutton's storyline, okay? Okay, her storyline is losing her last name. I'm sorry, this is an absolute snooze fest of a storyline. And then when she dropped the information that her husband is dating her friend, and
marrying
that's why
her.
He wants her to lose her name, because he wants to marry her. Yes, I was like, girl, this is your storyline.
Exactly.
What are we doing here?
What? I'm sorry.
What a bombshell.
I'm sorry.
That's a reveal. Yeah.
No wonder Sutton was so angry before this season. I think she has figured out a way to make her peace with it. And she's afraid to say anything bad about Christian because he's still paying her alimony as he should. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's the smartest move or the most infuriating, because the smartest move would to be like, just to be like, well, if that's what you want, you can have him. Or if that's what you want too, you can have her. Good luck with that. Because it's also like the more bothered she acts, would it make her look pathetic and crazy? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it would. I think she's taking the road that she should, which is the high road.
But I agree. I want some more tea on it. I need to know more. That's the storyline. Fully agree.
Oh, for sure. But like you said, she's going to be mum's the word on it because she needs that monthly check. Okay, and I don't fault her for that. But girl, I'm falling asleep during your scenes. Please wake it up. You don't have Garcelle. You don't have Ari. You're losing me. Please. So that's my Sutton rant. Love you, girl, but you gotta bring more. Okay. Now let's move on to Erica and her therapy appointment. I love that she has on-camera therapy sessions, because I love that therapist from what celebrity
couples boot camp.
Yes, I love her. So I love hearing everything that she has to say, and I love when we get a vulnerable Erica.
It was so raw and real. And you know what? I know a lot of people were making fun of Dr. Jen for this, but I was like, this is actually sticking with me. I'm taking something from Erica's therapy session, aside from the idea of eating cake after therapy, because it is a little treat. Okay. But when, as Erica's saying, I'm ready for this to be over. And I thought it was so raw and genuinely real. Like, no, quit fucking saying things to me like, oh, there's something good's gonna come from this. No. What? When? Give me a break. What good has come from this for me or anyone else involved? But when Dr. Jen pointed this out, and I was like, oh, I'm guilty of this, that everybody in life has this ideal that there's going to come that day when all the clothes are folded in the drawer, when you're not worrying about the money, when everything is just smooth sailing and good and simple and happy, and you're finally in the clear. But that day's never going to come. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It only happens for people who only want simple things that are happy with very simple things. And that's also a lesson in being happy with simple things. But I feel like, and I'm trying to say all these things in the right way, because I think of certain people who I see that I'm like, they have the most perfect life. I know all their clothes are folded and put away and color coded and no. And here I'm a freaking disaster with who knows what. But I mean, I think everyone's that way, aren't they? And I was like, oh my God, is this where we realize, oh, we just need to be more present, essentially, and just realize that you're going to come out on the other side somehow?
Yes.
I don't know.
And that was so refreshing to be reminded of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just made me be like, okay, let me stop waiting for that day. Let me stop thinking that this day is supposed to come, and just kind of like take it day by day. I think that was a very important scene. Shout out to Erica for showing it, because I love when anyone allows us into their therapy sessions. And
Agreed.
That whole conversation about her DV incident hit harder after our last podcast episode, when we talked about the rumors of her alleged attacker.
Well, that we never got to air that. That was an episode, one of our 7.
No way.
We didn't get to upload. Well,
gosh.
I had speculated, I was trying to figure it out. And with all due respect, not all due respect, with all respect to Erica for opening up about that, and Denise. And also the trigger warning for DV, when Erica had mentioned that the same thing had happened to her in their conversation with Denise. I said, wasn't Denise's neighbor Army Hammer? And they were like, the rumors were that they were allegedly like hooking up at some point, because of some text messages or DMs he had sent someone, or Snapchat. Now, this is, if it was within the last 2 years, obviously it wasn't. But I wasn't saying it was Army Hammer, but I was saying, like, this is fascinating. It's interesting to think of the fact that he was
neighbor,
next door.
Right? Erica's neighbor? Okay, you had said Denise.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was saying when Denise shared her aspect too. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'll clarify that it was Erica's neighbor, but again, wanting to be respectful of all of it and make it clear, I'm not alleging it was Army Hammer, but I did question, like, wait a minute. But I think it was whenever she said she had gone ahead and had to call 911 that I said, we would have heard something about that if that were...
Well, she did say, I didn't want to call because I knew it would get bigger. And I was like, is that because of her, or is that because of him? So
that's a great question. It's an interesting conspiracy that we have. Don't sue us. We're not accusing anyone of anything.
Just thinking. Okay, so
Theorizing.
we finished up the Hamptons trip, which I love. I love the fun trip. I love Rachel Zoe so much. She is such an amazing new addition to Beverly Hills. She's just like so real. She calls it as it is. Like, she's telling us about her relationship and how it broke down and how she's crying on the floor. I'm like, girl, give me all the tea. And in that last dinner conversation, Kyle and Dorit are asking all the questions I want to know. So thank you guys for that.
Rachel spilling the tea on herself.
Yes,
loved it.
Yes, I love that. And I really felt for Kyle when they met Rachel's family and they were so sweet, and Kyle was like, I kind of, get a little jealous whenever I see someone with 2 living parents. And as a child of a dead parent, I felt that. I'm always jealous of someone who gets to have both of their parents. So, I really felt that. But it was really nice seeing Rachel's family. I love that her mom has never
is hilarious.
worn pants ever. Like, what an icon. Apples
It made
and trees.
complete sense. It made complete sense. And I'm sending you a hug for what I'm sure that brought up for you.
I
know
but
mm-hmm.
and I feel that for Kyle. So I love that we have these moments where we can really relate to them. And the next moment that I did not relate to at all was a dinner conversation between Bose and Keely, which she brought her daughter to, by the way. I was cringing a little bit during that scene. I'd be rooting for Bose. I'd be wanting to see great things for her. But y'all having these serious conversations in front of your teenage daughter makes me feel a little weird because I felt like she didn't have to be there, okay?
No, Lael didn't.
She didn't. And Bose is being honest, and she's saying, I'm worried that if I can't give you a baby,
don't say that in
front
of your teenage daughter.
That exactly. And in the same breath, she had just said, I'm really excited because Lael gets to see how a gentleman treats you and how you're supposed to be in a relationship. That ain't it, girl. That ain't it. Risking your health to make a man happy by giving him a baby when you're like, what, 50? I don't like that. I don't like that. And what I don't like even more was the fact that Keely finished that up with, well, I'm worried that if I lose my source of income, you won't want me anymore.
That was like, where did that come from?
I'll tell you where it's come from. He don't got no money, and he is spending his savings trying to make it seem like he can keep up with Bose, and that's why he's hoping to get her knocked up, and that's the truth, because then he can trap her. He is trying to trap her because she is a boss bitch. She got the coin, and he don't, because why would you even think, what if I lose my source of income? Do you have money or not, sir? He is absolutely 1,000% teeing her up to be his sugar mama, and I hate that for her.
I do too, because I want to see her happy. She deserves to be happy. And like loved in the way, but you know what? We don't know what he does for a living, but we better hope, Keely. I need to know that you are at least matching our girl's energy here on this, okay? Even if it's not the same number, Keely? Match the energy.
You're being all nice. You're like, I hope you give our girl what she wants, and I'm like, no, you better have a job. You better come with that money, okay? Because do you know what she does? Do you know who she is? Okay. She's shattering glass ceilings, okay?
Absolutely.
She made a name for herself. She's on a Jimmy Fallon show for her brands and stuff, okay? I'm just, I just hate to see when these women are like so powerful and then they get like a man that's beneath them and then they're like tap dancing to make him happy when it should be the other way around.
Oh,
so,
I
Keely,
agree.
You better come correct when it comes to my girl Bose, and I'm going to leave it there.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and why don't we chat Southern Charm? And I think we've had so many shows we had to get into that we're going to have to try a gossip sesh again next week. But we already named a retired party girl of the week, so we're set there. Okay. Anyway, BRB, Southern Charm. Rodrigo, where were you when Venita was getting yelled at by Craig?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think I might be done with Southern Charm after this season. That was so disappointing on so many levels. And the fact that so many people were like, dang, we should have had Venita's back, but didn't.
But you didn't.
I'm sorry.
Sally,
are you guys afraid of Craig? Applause for Sally. Applause for Sally. Because she is the only one who stood up for her friend. And that was wild. Craig attacks everybody out of nowhere. And we saw it again at the end. We'll get to that. But the fact that nobody had Venita's back in that moment, I was just like, I was really thinking the rest of the episode, what am I watching this for? This is the Craig and Austin show. And I don't care to see Craig on my screen anymore. I'm mad.
Well, you know what he was doing? He's been waiting to be able to yell at Sally. So stop number one was Venita on his little ride to his final destination. And stop number two was outing to Austin that he and Charlie hooked up because he knew Austin and that blabbermouth would immediately go tell Sally. Immediately. And he knew what he was doing. He laid this groundwork. He had a plan. So that was stop number two. And then when Sally points out in the Sprinter van that his hair is a mess, just like being silly, that was the final stop before his destination of hollering at Sally now too. Because you know what that did? I think it triggered him when he was all kinds of whatever he was type of schmammered at that one reunion when he and Austin were going after Madison saying it was because you hooked up with A-Rod that things ended with you and Austin. And she looked at Craig and said, go fix your hair, you're goddamn miss. And that was the shut your muppet mouth thing. So, you know, I think that's really what that was. But Venita, okay, she got mad. Craig, okay, you're mad that she didn't take your side, but she's Paige's friend more than she is yours. So why would she take your side? That's crazy.
I feel like ever since Craig saved her from drowning last season, he feels like he's indebted. Venita should be indebted to him, and she owes him something. Loyalty, at the very least. I think that's what he thought, and he's very mad. He's like, I saved you. I could have let you drown. Girl, girl. Everybody was there. Someone
would have gotten her.
Someone would have jumped in. I just think they just have such a weird energy. They were never really friends. And I think ever since that moment on Watch What Happens Live, Craig was like, okay, well, I have a new enemy. I have someone I can unleash on because I'm going to unleash every time I drink. And now I have someone that I can do that on. And everybody is so afraid of Craig that nobody wants to be the one to step in and catch his wrath, which is insane.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't really get it, why they're so scared. Like, what is he going to, like, that he's going to reveal something they've told him? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
That is a good point. That is a good point, though, because it would be the highlight of my week to tell Craig about himself in front of an audience. But the way that he just brings up everybody's secrets whenever he's mad at them and on camera, I would be terrified to get into it with him. So now I do understand why they stay silent. He got dirt on everybody.
And honestly, he's that type of person that he'll like do the gossip with you and be like, yeah, no, I totally agree. You're so right. And then he'll hold on to it. And then he uses it when it's convenient. And, you know, I just feel like how that many men were sitting at that table that wouldn't even say a word. Whitner, who I thought was a good guy. Sir, you are supposed to be Southern gentlemen. What the hell?
Well, he did say something afterwards. He did say that wasn't a good look. And Venita appreciated that. But I did wonder why he waited so long to say it. I think it's because he doesn't have a great relationship with Craig, and he's trying to like navigate this new friendship. And so it's weird because bros are always going to bro out at the end. And that's kind of what it was. Nobody wanted to go against the bro.
I'm surprised Molly didn't tell him to shut up, because that's also someone that I would have expected. I know Molly and Venita have had their moments, but I really was also surprised because I adore Molly. I would have expected her to say something too. And Austin, what the hell?
You know, maybe they did. Maybe they did, and they wanted to make it seem like nobody did, because I remember hearing this clip from Hannah Berner like about a week or two ago, where she said that production very much interferes with who stands up for who and who comforts who.
I remember that.
Yeah, there was this one time where Amanda was upset and she ran away crying, and her and Paige went after Amanda to comfort her, and the producers held her back and was like, no, let Paige go. And it was so that they could cement their friendship. So maybe they did stand up for her, and they're just trying to make it seem like everyone kind of left Venita out there. That's what I want to believe, because Molly does seem like the type that would have.
Yeah, she does.
Piped up.
Yes, that's why I was surprised. And same with Rod. But you know what? I think that's a fantastic point. There must have been someone waving at her. But see, that's also my problem, is I'd be like, anyway, so what do you think you're doing talking to her that way? I mean, I wouldn't be able to. That's probably why no one's put me on reality TV yet. But I shouldn't say, okay, whatever. Anyway. But you know, I think Craig is going back down his downward spiral. And there are so many people on, I guess, TikTok defending him, saying, can't you see he's heartbroken? Yes.
Heartbroken?
Yeah.
Well, he's feeling up another girl?
When they broke up, I literally was like, you don't even, because we hadn't seen this side come back out for Craig. I was like, you don't have to pick a side. This doesn't have to be Scandival. We can be like, man, that's a bummer. We liked seeing what we saw of them as a couple, but come on. Like, they were together for a long time. We don't have to automatically hate her or hate him. And the way the Karens crashed out in my comment section defending Craig, like, he's so precious. Paige is just a mean girl. Forget Paige, blah, blah, blah. Paige is such a bitch and all this stuff. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? Why are we only taking this man's side right now? But yeah, these Karens were just completely having a fit in my comment section. So they're still out there. Just because a man wants to settle down, that's attractive, like that, has success, wants to settle down and have a family, they think that they're just everything that God gifted women with.
Wow. I did not know that there were Craig defenders out there.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane.
That's actually shocking to find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, this makes more sense for Charlie. Because I was like, girl, you don't watch past seasons? How could anyone defend Craig? But judging by the look on her face at the end of this week's episode, she was gobsmacked.
The faces she was making this whole episode had me cackling, though.
She's hilarious. Yeah, girl,
I know.
you're doing things with the face. Like, yes, she was beside herself, and we didn't get a clip to see what's going to happen next week. And I need to know if she continues talking to Craig after this, because up until now, I'd be like, you know what? Girl, you haven't seen personally with your own eyes, you haven't seen this man do his big one, which everyone else has seen him do, and you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. IRL, I get that. But now you have seen the real Craig.
You've seen it. You've
Where
witnessed it.
Where are we going to go from here? Where are we going to go?
Well, we've covered quite a few shows in this episode. And
We have.
I think we covered as much as we possibly could. Now, I think we discussed Tuesday. We're going to talk about, even though it's a little late, it's fine. We're trying to get a better structure to our schedule because there are so many shows right now, you guys. We're going to do Potomac. We'll cover Summer House, and then we'll start covering Summer House at the end of the week after starting this coming week. And we're going to have a good old little gossip sesh, I think, this coming week as well on Tuesday.
Yes,
I think that's what we can expect.
Always.
Listen, after partiers, go follow our socials, please. We will be posting clips there, things in between. It's at Retired Party Girls Pod on everything, except on YouTube. I think it's at Retired Party Girls Podcast. But I'm so glad y'all joined us and stuck with us through this. Follow both of us on social media. Tessa's your favorite ex-girlfriend, and I'm Besties by Caitlin. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And remember, it's Friday. Keep them titties out and keep them swaying. I wish you guys
Or
the
wear a
best
bra
weekend.
if you don't want them to be tucked into your ankle socks by the time you're 45. Of course, breastfeeding does that. Anyway. All right, besties. After partiers, I got to train myself again. Could you leave us a 5-star review with a comment about what you love about the show? Also, thank you so much. That means the world. It's a free way to support the show. Okay, I'm done. All right, friends. We'll see you next week. Have a good
Love
weekend.
you guys. Bye.
Bye.